Great to have you with us. Please like, subscribe, and share. Now, we're going to switch gears here. Thanks, everybody, for rolling up. Really appreciate everybody watching. Please smash that like button, like, comment, and subscribe. And if you like this, most importantly, share the Chris Highland Show with everybody that you know. Help us get the word out. If you know anybody who's subscribed to Courageous Media, please reach out to them. Let them know that we are over here now, because I just talked to some family members of mine who watch my show, and they're like, hey, you haven't posted in like months. I'm like, no, we're on the new channel now. So obviously the notifications are getting downplayed or outright canceled by YouTube. So please let everybody that you know about this channel. Let's get over there. Now, the other story I want to cover today is not really a bombshell, but it's the big news of one of the big pieces of news of the day, and that is the Canadian elections, which have gone completely sideways on, unfortunately, the Canadian people, the real Canadian people who want an actual country. Check this out.
So something is really fishy with what's going on with this election here in Canada. I was supposed to be working for Elections Canada tonight in Durham region, which is just east of Toronto. And so what my job was is when the votes are done at each polling station, they get brought to the office. I was there to make sure all the packages were sealed, all the documentation was in order, so then the votes can be tabulated and counted. Not a single vote in Durham region had been counted yet. None of them had been brought to the office yet. Then I go on my phone and I see CTV declaring the Liberals the winners. It's like, how is this even possible? Here we have, one of the biggest areas just east of the GTA, Pickering, Ajax, Whitby, Oshawa, Uxbridge. Not a single vote counted. And then, CTV says the Liberals win. And then CBC follows in that. This reeks. How is this even possible? Something's fishy. Something's not right. There's got to be some sort of...
Gee, Liberals and progressives stealing an election? Who would have thought? Now, that's not the big story, but I did want to cover this. I want to cover this as we get into the Canadian election story, just because I found it extremely interesting that there are some pretty, shall I say, not corroborated, but at least potential views of election rigging in Canada, which I do not put. Again, you've got Canada with 100% owned state media, essentially, with the Trudeau administration that has essentially rigged themselves into office. And then you've got the controlled opposition in Poilievre, which you're going to cover. But we'll check out this story real quick, and then we'll dive into the fact that Carney, the Liberal, won the election, even though it should have been a walk-in for Poilievre. Check this out. So here we got
Lots
people.
Of votes.
Yep.
More boxes of votes. Just in their car, willy-nilly.
Set up on Monday.
So even at the early voting places, they send the boxes home with folks?
I'm not sure about the early voting. I didn't work that.
No, So they send everybody home with a box?
They just send people home with ballots. No problem. Hey, what could go wrong? Election rigging by Liberals and progressives is nothing new. It happens in every single country. But the fact of the matter is that Pierre Poilievre should have walked into the prime ministership of Canada, but he did not. Mark Carney, the WEF, Davos, globalist, Klaus Schwab acolyte, who was advising Trudeau for the last 10 years, is now prime minister, which is very sad for Canadians and in some ways for Americans as well. Check this out.
Top two things trending today. Take a look. Canada and Canadians.
At this point, at 10:14 p.m. Eastern Time, Canadian press is declaring a Liberal government. Let's go right now.
Liberals have won in Canada again. Is everybody feeling so much better? So much better now that Pierre's lost this thing. And did he lose yesterday because of Trump's tweet? Trump puts this tweet out and says, hey, come on, be the 51st state. And Pierre, hey, you stay in your lane, Trump, right? These are already flying. Look at this. Canadian voters, socialism. Canada, we understand you hate Trump, but where are you going to go from here? Where are you going to go with these Liberals now? We can get into it and talk about your stagnant GDP growth. Look at this. This is Canada at the very, very top. This is Canada per capita growth over the last 10 years. Look at it. It's infinitesimal compared to the rest of the world. You want more of this. Or maybe you want more of this. How much crime has risen in Canada in the past 10 years? Homicide, 33%. Auto theft, 40%. Theft over $5,000, 50%. Identity theft. Look at this. Human trafficking, 210%. Extortion, 429%. We keep going. Liberal accomplishments, 2015 to 2025. Worst housing affordability ever. Skyrocketing national debt. Rampant inflation. Homelessness in 10 cities. You just keep going. Just keep going. And
Absolutely 100%.
the rest of the world's going, you guys okay over there, Canada? If not, blink your eyes so you can send us a sign. Everybody in Canada is saying, we're going to show you, America. Elbows up. We're going to show you. Check it out. America last month produced 228,000 jobs. Canada, minus 33,000. Now listen, Canada, we love you, but we're over here praying for you. You guys got years.
Exactly. Poilievre 100% blew this election. I'm going to show you a little bit of his concession speech, but it went right along with what the other nonsense he's been doing basically for the last 3 months. He had the opportunity to trounce the liberals so that even election rigging that we saw up front wouldn't have mattered. Too big to rig, just like Trump did in 24. But Poilievre did not get to work, and he completely blundered this whole thing. Check this out.
So I would like to congratulate Prime Minister Carney on leading this minority government. We'll have plenty of opportunity to debate and disagree, but tonight we come together as Canadians. We will do our job. Yes, we will do our job to hold the government to account. But first, we congratulate people from all political backgrounds on participating in the democratic process. And as I said, while we will do our constitutional duty of holding government to account and proposing better alternatives, we will always put Canada first as we stare down tariffs and other irresponsible threats from President Trump. Conservative.
And that is why he lost right there. That is the reason. He could have taken Trump's hardline stance against Canada in the tariffs and flipped it and simply pointed to the liberals. He could have said, Trump's tariffing Canada because of Trudeau, because of Carney. Carney was the guy who was consulting with Trudeau. He was the one who was advising him. And you want Mark Carney, a WEF Davos Klaus Schmidt moron in office. You want Trudeau 2.0. The reason we are in this problem, the reason we have this fight with Trump is because of the liberals. I will stand up to Trump, but I agree with this, that he could have turned this thing on its ear and he didn't. PBD had an excellent discourse with Viva Free, who now lives in America, but he's a Canadian citizen. And he had it absolutely right. Check this out, because this was a failure of Poilievre. Now, whether Poilievre is just lazy, whether he's just dumb, whether he's both, or whether he was never more than controlled opposition, like the old Republican Party, because the Uniparty, the libs, the aristocrat tyranny, global tyrants love the idea of opposition that is controlled. It's not really opposition. It just looks like opposition. So we can pit two groups of people against each other, and they never embrace populism. Check this out.
Here's what's funny. Think about who, as a world leader, has a shittier resume than him and a worse approval rating. The fact that people are done with him. Mm-hmm. And even with that, Pierre Poilievre couldn't beat him.
That's what's the sad part.
Well, you know why it's not sad? Because every time we invited Pierre, arrogant, pompous team, the only podcast he ever did is Jordan Peterson. So let me get this straight. You saw Milei win because he went everywhere. You saw Bukele win, he went everywhere. You saw Trump win because he went everywhere. You saw Bobby win because he went everywhere. You saw Vivek become a superstar because he went everywhere. And you don't, you deserve losing. And you didn't win. And I said that to Canadians who love him. The candidate you adore and admire and love doesn't want to work. God forbid he has to.
He's absolutely right. He was invited on Rogan, on PBD, on Megyn Kelly, on Theo Vaughn. He could have gone to all of them. He could have gone to Bongino before he accepted the FBI head. He could have been in front of millions and millions and millions of people on Twitter, on YouTube. Even though they can't get some of this stuff on Instagram in Canada, he could have reached out to almost every single Canadian and gotten his message across. But he didn't do it. He didn't want to put in the work. And at the same time, he wanted to give the libs in Canada a different enemy other than Trudeau. He actually walked this election right into Mark Carney's hands.
Cross the border and go talk to other borders to bring attention. God forbid, too much travel time. He's got to eat his apple. He's got to eat his apple because he's got to get his apple in his system. Go to New York, do a damn podcast outside of Jordan Peterson. Go do Joe Rogan's podcast. Go to some other podcast and talk to Lex. Go talk to whatever these other podcasts are. Go talk to Andrew Schultz down the street from you in New York. And you lost to Justin. You couldn't beat him. That's embarrassing. So that's the part also, Vinny, where the opposition is so arrogant and confident that they're going to win that they lose. How many clips did we see of Pierre going viral?
A bunch. Oh.
Rob, just go type in his name and type in go on YouTube, Rob, and type in his name if you could. Just type in YouTube, Pierre Poilievre. It's very easy to spell. Pierre, Pierre.
There you
right
go.
there. Just go to that one. And then go to filters and go to views. Okay? Go to filters and go to views. Just play, what is that one? Response to questions about Canadian sovereignty. Yeah. Maybe go to one that has to do with Trudeau. Right there. Play the second one. Watch this. Watch this.
This is the debate.
Can you,
by this wacko prime minister.
Go back a little bit, Rob.
An end to this wacko policy by this wacko prime minister.
No. I'm going to ask the honourable Leader of the Opposition to withdraw that term, which is not considered parliamentary.
Mr. Speaker, I replace wacko with extremist. He is an
The honourable member to please. I'm going to ask the Leader of the Opposition once again to just withdraw that comment, please.
I'll replace it with radical fascist policy.
I am not asking to replace. I'm asking the honourable member to just simply withdraw.
Mr. Speaker, I replace the word wacko with extremist.
I'm going to ask the honourable Leader of the Opposition.
Go back. You get the idea, right? Go back a little. Let's go to another one, okay, to see how talented this guy is. Go to this next one. Joe Taxpayer funded. Okay, play this one here, Rob.
I'd like to welcome the Prime Minister back from his $80,000 vacation, which he got for free. He said, like most Canadians, friends welcomed him for that vacation. He took two, not one, but two private jets paid for by the taxpayer, burning 100 tons of greenhouse gases into the atmosphere.
Go back, Rob. So now go all the way to the top if you could, and just type in podcast next to him. And do me a favor, eliminate his first name, just put Poilievre podcast, and go to filters and go to views. And let's see what podcast he's done. Okay, zoom in. 18? So Jordan Peterson, 2 months ago, 5 million. He needs to do that once every other month. Okay, keep going lower, specific to podcast.
All right, so I want to jump ahead because he also talks to Viva Free about what Poilievre did in terms of, his campaign in general. Check this out.
If you can pull that up, so for me, I'm watching this whole thing taking place, going back and forth. This guy Pierre needs to absolutely win by a mile. If you have the tweet towards Canadians, you should have it somewhere there, Rob. When was it? When you go a little bit lower, see if you find it. If not, you don't see it. Man, he's pretty active nowadays.
Dude, he's not stuck.
Okay, well, go to Pierre's tweet. Okay, go to Pierre's tweet. Okay? If you go to Pierre's tweet, is this it? President Trump, stay out of our election. The only people who will decide the future of Canada are Canadians at the ballot box. They didn't show up. Canada will always be proud, sovereign, and independent, and we will never be the 51st state. Today, Canadians can vote for change so we can strengthen our country, stand on our own 2 feet, and stand up to America from a position of strength. Go to my tweet, Rob, and just to have some fun with this one here. This is what I said to Canadians last night, 6 hours or 12 hours before they were about to go out there and vote. Can you go to that one right there? I mean, I even tagged them purely out of respect. Yeah. Canada, I certainly hope your candidate, Pierre Poilievre, did everything in his power to win for you. I hope you held him accountable. I hope you drove him to earn his victory instead of being entitled to one. I hope he and his team reached out to Tucker, Nelk, Rogan, Theo Von, Megyn Kelly, Sean Ryan, Bill Maher, Lex Friedman, and others to get his message heard. I certainly hope your fear of the liberal media in Canada didn't bully you from campaigning the old-fashioned way. I hope this doesn't become the most embarrassing loss a conservative candidate has suffered following a disastrous Trudeau administration. If he loses to Carney after being ahead by a mile on Polymarket just 90 days ago, this may go down as the most pathetic loss of all time. Your beautiful country and amazing people needed their hero to work his ass off. I'm not sure he did. I certainly hope I'm wrong and he wins. But future looks bright for those who campaign like their country counted on them. Go a little lower. Here's John Shahidi. Go a little bit lower on that tweet in the comment section. John Shahidi, who runs Nelk, he runs Full Send, he runs Happy Dad. He says, I tried to support by connecting Nelk, Theo, and you, they ignored. You mean to tell me you said no to Theo? Do you know how much we would have sent the lighter side of you, the fun side of you with Theo? Do you know what would have happened if you gone to Nelk? They have connections in Canada, and you said no to it? Now, Viva, everybody I talk to, this is the shit I hear. I hear people say, you don't understand Canadian politics. Probably so. You don't understand how things are. You don't understand how the liberal media, they're so dirty over here. And what they're going to do is if he goes on all those things, all they're going to do is this. This is all Trump's fault. If Trump wouldn't have brought up the 51st state, he would have won by landslide. This whole thing happened because of Trump. It is all Trump's fault. It is all. If I hear one more Canadian blame this loss on Trump, I am so sick and tired of this victimhood mentality of blaming everything on Trump. There is this one, what do you call it? I saw, Rob. There's this one meme I saw. I'm sending it to you right now. If you see it on your phone, if you can pull it up. This meme explains so many of the voters that want to blame every single.
So there's
your
meme.
perspective, please.
Propagandized. And I don't even think they understand it. And I think we've seen the results of that. But the fact that he would turn down or not go on certain podcasts, because people are saying, well, what good would it do to go on an American podcast? The media in Canada is just going to use it against him, say he's Trump-esque. And it's like, they're doing it anyhow. No matter what he does, no matter how much he tries to trash Trump, they do it anyhow. They called him mini Trump. They drew parallels between his campaign and Trump's campaign. And I said, you want to get the eyes of the world on the issues of Canada, much like what happened in Romania, where Kalin Georgescu gets, disqualified. They annul the election. And you say, well, don't get American politics involved in it because, it's none of their business. That's how you put things on international blast. And that's how you get into the mainstream and bypass the...
Exactly. Get it on international blast. Get it out there. Get everybody understanding. He should have buddied up to Trump. Basically what he did is he trashed Trump. So he pissed off, half of the conservatives on his side anyway. And then they didn't show up to vote. And at the same time, he emboldened the libs. What he should have done was said, Trump's absolutely right. If we keep going the way we're going, we should be the 51st state, but we're here for change. And I am here for Canada first. I will make sure we have strong agreements with the Trump White House, with America. He should have gone down and met with Trump. And he could have opposed Trump. He said, look, I don't want us to be the 51st state. And Trump could have said, you know what? We don't really need that either. What we need is basically a combined economy, a combined currency. Let's get rid of all the tariffs. He could have started that relationship and negotiation to everybody's benefit and turned everything against Carney. He could have said Carney is WEF, Carney is Davos, Carney is Trudeau. The reason that Trump is coming down on Canada is because of Carney, because of Trudeau. He could have turned everything and made the liberals and the Trudeauites the enemy. Instead, he made Trump the enemy, which basically gave Carney and the libs somebody to focus on, not themselves. Poilievre blew this election. Whether he did it on purpose because he's controlled opposition or not, I don't know. But he absolutely blew this. And it's sad. It's sad for my friends, my family. I have a cousin who's in Canada. I wanted so much better for them, but it's only going to get worse now for a while. Maybe we'll see Alberta succeed. That would be great. Alberta can come be part of America. We'll take you. Anyway, thanks so much for rolling up. Really appreciate everybody being here. Thanks so much. Please smash that like button. Like, comment, and subscribe. Most importantly, please share Chris Highland Show with everybody that you know. Remember, God is good and he is sovereign. It'll all be good in the end. Till I catch you next time.